Welcome back to the Tusk Force Dev Server, and today we're going to be taking a look at a new self-propelled howitzer vehicle, the M55. More specifically, 5 of them, because this is going to be coming to the American, German, French, Italian and Chinese tech trees at rank 3 battle rating 4.0. So this is going to work pretty much the same as the M44, at least in regards to its implementation in War Thunder. Lots of nations are going to have access to it. And as you can see, it has got a rather large weapon. So it's got a 203mm M47 cannon. Now, this has a rather slow reload rate of 38.9 seconds. You can bring it up to just under 30 seconds when you fully max out your crew, but obviously that's still going to be a very long reload time. This turret is not a 360-degree traversing turret. It only goes 30 degrees either way. And it's got a vertical guidance of -5 to +65 degrees, and a turning speed of 5.9 degrees in the horizontal and 4.2 degrees in the vertical. And this only fires the one shell, the M106HE shell with 64.7mm penetration at just under 600 meters a second muzzle velocity. So this should do decently well, especially at 4.0 for taking out other enemies. And you can also see you've got a 50 cal on the roof here for protection against enemy aircraft and soft skin vehicles. And another unusual feature of this vehicle is that all of the crew is housed within the turret, including the driver. So you've got 6 crew, you've got your driver, your gunner, your commander who can also fire the main armament, and then 3 loaders. And you can see the driver controls are up here as well, so they can be easily damaged. And unfortunately, that turret does provide a rather obvious target. I mean, not only can you kill the entirety of the crew if you manage to penetrate it, it's also not particularly well armoured, only maxing out at 12.7mm, including for the roof. In fact, the hull is actually better armoured at 25.4mm. And that also has the transmission and engine, so any shots to the hull are going to be probably blocked by those, whereas, yeah, a quick shot to the turret will quickly knock out most of the crew. You can also see the gunner's got optics with 4x zoom, and the speed itself is 35 miles per hour when going forward on 6 gears, or 14 miles per hour in reverse on 2 gears, which is not bad at all for getting away from ambushes, and it's got a 716 horsepower engine. Now we're going to test drive the German version just because I haven't got the American version available to actually test drive at the moment. Here we are. You can also see you've got a 50 cal on the roof here, and this is about the limit of its traverse, so you have got a little bit of traverse, but not a massive amount. So we're going to target the IT-1. We've taken it out straight away. It's actually probably going to be quicker to restart the level every time I want to fire this thing, because it's just going to be quicker than waiting for it to reload. And you can see there's a bit of a difference with the recoil depending on where the gun's pointed. So if we're pointing straight forward, very little amount of recoil. But if we traverse the turret as far as it will go and then try and fire over there, the whole gun just jerks massively to the side. So you could in theory lose your target if you're trying to hit something that's quite fast moving, especially, you know, in sort of areas where there's a lot of cover. And you can see it seems to move decently fast, so we're already up to 25 miles per hour, still accelerating. Of course, we've entered the river and crossing the bridge. That's going to slow us down a little bit, but still not below 20 miles per hour. We're also still reloading, so yeah, you can see that reload speed is not the best. Here is the driver's view. As you can see, we're above the gun because we're in the fighting compartment with everyone else. Still haven't actually reached our top speed, but we're about to reach it, and then we'll test the brakes. So it does take a little while to slow down. We took that T55 in just one shot. And there's our reverse speed. Not the fastest in the world, but pretty decent, I think. Actually, no, yeah, I think this is pretty good, this reverse speed. And see how quick it turns on the spot. Turns pretty quickly on the spot as well, and couple that with the limited amount of traverse, you can quickly turn around and target any flanking enemies. And you've, of course, got your roof-mounted machine gun to fend off any enemy aircraft. So we'll take this back to the hangar. And so that is the M55. And yeah, all in all, this seems like it is a pretty good vehicle. My only complaint about it is that it's going to so many different nations. Obviously, it's fair enough for it to go to the American tech tree because it is an American vehicle. but it's a bit odd for it to go to the German, Chinese, Italian and French tech trees, especially when they don't actually have their own domestic equivalents already in game. Well, the M55 probably fills in a gap more than the M44 did, but it would be nice to see some domestic German vehicles like the Vespa added. Obviously, I covered not very long ago the Semavente priest vehicles that the Italians had, which were rearmed by the Italians with new weapons that could fire NATO standard rounds. It would have just been nice to see some, more domestic vehicles and not have the M55 copy-pasted into a whole bunch of different nations. But yeah, the vehicle itself will do pretty well, and I think it will be fairly successful in-game. I could even see this going up in battle rating a little bit, because that shell was taking down even the Cold War vehicles with relative ease. And like I showed, it is pretty mobile. So yeah, I could see this increasing in battle rating at some point. Though that might cause problems, at least for the German tech tree, because then you bump up against the Jagdpanzer IV and the 38T. The Italians would be bumping up against their vehicles. The French one could be bumped up a little bit without causing too much overlap. And so could the American one. But yeah, we'll have to see how it performs when it's actually added to the game. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you'll join me for the next one. I've been Toreno, and I'll see you next time.